just get involved in politics per se. I think that's the right way to do it.
To an extent, it's that you know as well.
There's a bit of that, but I mean, yeah, but if you go to college, just get involved.
Yeah, I do everything I can.
Who runs the UK?
Yeah.
I don't know really. I've been an MP for 8 years. And my feeling is frustration because I don't really know where the real levers are, Give an example. We've just gone through a massive economic crisis, right? And my constituents bear no responsibility whatsoever for that, But yesterday it was just announced that 8 secondary schools that were going to get built aren't going to get built anymore, Including your own, right? Well, why is it that you guys are taking the heat for the economic crisis whose culpability is not yours? I simply raise that as an example, because politically I find the question of power really elusive. I came in here because I thought you could grab hold of things and shift directions. In actual fact, I think there's a sort of arm lock around the country by a certain corporate and financial elite who control politics, actually.
When we were interviewing Jon Snow of Channel 4,
Right.
We spoke about a website that Channel 4 hosts called Who Knows Who, where they link up different political candidates or members of the cabinet to what their previous positions were or who they know in the cabinet. And we were surprised to find out that I think it was about 95% of the current cabinet right now are Oxbridge students. And all from the same class of white, upper class, same background. And it came across to me that this is actually a very small sample of our population, and therefore we're only getting the ideas of a small population, only the thoughts of those people. So do you think that if we continue like this and continue employing politicians like that we're only ever going to get these same ideas?
I think you've cracked it just by what you've just said. There is an ever closer sort of revolving door between the political parties and certain powerful private corporations, and that will get more and more closed world where they socialise together, they almost live together, they're at each other's beck and call, they determine the shape and the political trajectory of the whole country, and they reproduce it in their news outlets, right? But the real question is whether the democratic system has any purchase on the broader power elites that got us into the crisis that we're now going through. And that, I think, is a much bigger question, because the bottom line, when the music stops, when it all shakes down, it's the little guy who pays the price. My mum said recently the assumption was always generational mobility, right? And she thinks that has all stopped, and she feels more sorry for young people today than she did in her own time. And I think that is so revealing as a modern day contemporary story about us becoming more entrenched, immobile and unequal, and that frightens me, because I assumed over time that we'd be cracking down, breaking down this power elite, that it would be more fluid, it would be less class ridden, but I fear it's not like that anymore. And if those are collapsing, those routes to a more enriched life, if you want, an education, because of the whole sort of financial architecture of the country and the elites that are entrenching their power, then that I find quite unsettling. Because I assume still that we're becoming more equal, but I'm not sure we are now. I think the music's stopped and we could be going backwards.